Hello, and welcome back to Talk About It in English. If you are listening to this, you are likely looking for a way to improve your English without adding hours of stress to your day. Maybe it is late at night. Maybe you are winding down. You might have just watched a video about learning English while you sleep. That is a fascinating concept, isn't it? The idea that our brains can absorb information even when we are resting. It's comforting to think we can learn by just listening. But there is a small problem with only listening.
Right. The problem isn't the listening itself. Listening is crucial, but the problem is that listening is passive. It goes in, but it does not always come out. I'm sure many of you watching right now have felt that frustration. You understand almost everything you hear in a YouTube video or a podcast. You can follow a story. You know what the words mean. But then Monday morning comes around. You walk into work or school, and someone asks you a very simple question. They ask, "So, how was your weekend?" Or, "How was your day?"
And that is the moment where everything freezes. You know the answer in your head. You know exactly what you did, but your mouth feels heavy. You stumble. You end up saying something very short and simple, like, "It was good," or "I slept," and then the conversation dies. You walk away feeling frustrated because your English level in your head is so much higher than the English level that just came out of your mouth.
Exactly. It's the gap between your passive brain and your active muscles. So today, we are going to fix that. We're not going to ask you to open a grammar book or write an essay. We are going to use the time you already have right now, the time just before you go to sleep, to build a powerful speaking habit. We call this the 5-minute bedtime recap.
This is a routine designed to bridge that gap. Most of us replay our day in our heads before we sleep anyway. We lie in bed and think about what happened, what went wrong, or what we need to do tomorrow. Usually we do this in our native language. Today, we are going to switch that internal monologue into spoken English. We are going to teach you how to narrate your day in clear, natural past tense sentences. By the end of this video, you'll have a set of patterns you can whisper to yourself every night.
And the best part is, nobody has to hear you. You're in your bedroom, it's private, it's safe. If you make a mistake, it does not matter. This is your training ground. So if you want to finally be able to talk about your life with confidence, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. We cover a new topic every week to help you speak, not just study. Now, are you ready to build your bedtime recap?
Let's start at the very beginning of your day. When you tell the story of your day, you need to set the scene. Most beginners start with, "I woke up at 7. That is grammatically correct, but it's a little robotic. Real life is rarely that smooth. We want to capture the feeling of the morning. Was it slow? Was it panicked? Was it energetic?
Right. Let's look at two different types of mornings. The first type is the slow morning. Maybe you didn't want to get out of bed. The phrase we want to use here is, "I struggled to wake up." Listen to that pattern, struggled to. It means it was difficult. It implies a fight between you and your alarm clock.
Let's practice that. I'm going to say it, and I want you to repeat it out loud wherever you are. I struggled to wake up. Try it. I struggled to wake up. Notice how I stress the word struggled. It carries the emotion.
Now, let's add a little more detail. Maybe you hit the snooze button on your alarm. You know, when the alarm goes off and you press the button to get 9 more minutes of sleep, we say, "I kept hitting snooze." This is a great phrase for a casual chat. I kept hitting snooze.
So if you combine those, you get a very natural sentence. I struggled to wake up and kept hitting snooze. That sounds so much more human than just I woke up. It tells a story. But what about the other kind of morning, the one where you were late?
For that, we need the word rushed. To rush means to move with urgency because you do not have enough time. A very common collocation or word pair here is rushed around. It paints a picture of you running from the bedroom to the kitchen to the bathroom. I rushed around all morning.
Let's try that one. Repeat after me. I rushed around all morning. One more time. I rushed around all morning. Excellent. Another great phrase for this feeling is, I was in a rush to get out the door. This is very useful when you're explaining why you forgot something or why you didn't eat breakfast. Why didn't you call me? Sorry, I was in a rush to get out the door.
So for your bedtime recap, step 1 is describing how the day started. You choose one sentence, either I struggled to wake up or I was in a rush. Just say that one sentence to yourself. It anchors your story.
Now we move to the main part of the day. This is usually work, school, or your main responsibilities. This is where most learners get stuck in the trap of saying, I worked. I went to school. I studied. Again, correct, but boring. It kills the conversation. We want to talk about how you used your time.
The magic verb here is spent. S-P-E-N-T. It is the past tense of spent. In English, we spend time just like we spend money. The pattern you need to learn is, I spent the whole day doing something. Notice the grammar there. I spent the day doing. Verb with ing.
This is a game changer for fluency. Instead of saying, I wrote reports, you say, I spent the morning writing reports. Instead of saying, I cleaned the house, you say, I spent the afternoon cleaning the house. It emphasizes the duration and the effort.
Let's practice this pattern with a few different activities. Imagine you had a day full of meetings. You are tired of talking to people. You would say, I spent the whole day sitting in meetings. Listen to the rhythm. I spent the whole day sitting in meetings. Now you try it. Speak it out loud.
Good. Let's try another one. Maybe you are a student or you are preparing for a test. You wouldn't just say, I studied. You would say, I spent the entire afternoon studying for my exam. Try that. I spent the entire afternoon studying for my exam.
This pattern is also perfect for days when you feel like you didn't do anything important. Maybe you were lazy. You can say, I spent the day relaxing. Or, honestly, I spent the day scrolling on my phone. We have all been there.
We certainly have. So, that is your second sentence for your bedtime recap. Choose one thing that took up most of your time. I spent the morning replying to emails. I spent the day running errands. This gives your listener a clear picture of where your energy went.
But a day is not just about time. It is about achievement. Did you finish what you wanted to do? Or did you have problems? This brings us to the next section, success versus struggle. When someone asks how your day was, they want to know if you won or lost.
Let's start with the win, the success. The phrase we love here is managed to. Managed implies that it was not easy, but you did it anyway. If you say, I finished the report, it is neutral. If you say, I managed to finish the report, it means it was hard, but you succeeded. You are proud of yourself.
That is a subtle but important difference. Use managed to for things that felt like a challenge. For example, maybe your schedule was crazy, but you still found time for the gym. You say, I managed to squeeze in a workout. To squeeze in means to fit something into a tight space or time.
Oh, I love that phrase, squeeze in. It makes you sound very busy and important. Let's practice that. I managed to squeeze in a workout. Repeat it. I managed to squeeze in a workout.
Now, what about the opposite, the struggle? Sometimes the day beats us. A great phrase for this is, I got stuck on. You can get stuck on a problem, stuck on a task, or stuck on an idea. It means you could not move forward.
For example, I got stuck on a difficult email, or I got stuck in traffic. That is a classic one. I got stuck in traffic for an hour. This explains why you might feel frustrated. Let's practice the work example. I got stuck on a difficult project. Your turn. I got stuck on a difficult project.
Another great phrase for a bad day is, it was a drag. D-R-A-G, a drag. This is slang, but it is very common in spoken English. It means something was boring, slow, or annoying. Was the meeting fun? No, it was a total drag.
So, this is the third piece of your bedtime recap. You talk about the result of your efforts. I managed to finish everything. Or, I got stuck on one problem all day. Or simply, the afternoon was a bit of a drag. By now, you have 3 solid sentences. You have the start, the middle activity, and the result.
Now we need to talk about how you feel. Not how you felt at 10 a.m., but how you feel right now as you are telling the story. This is the emotional wrap-up. This is what connects you to the other person, or in this case, connects you to yourself.
Beginners often overuse the word tired. I am tired. You are tired. We are all tired. Let's upgrade that vocabulary. If you have worked hard mentally and you have no energy left, you can say, I am drained, like a battery that is empty. I am completely drained.
Drained is excellent. It sounds much more serious than tired.
Another one, if you have been busy moving around physically, is I am running on fumes. You know when a car is almost out of gas and it is running on the gas fumes? That is the idiom. I am running on fumes. It means I am about to collapse.
Let's try saying that with feeling. You can't say it happily. You have to sound exhausted. I'm running on fumes. Try it. I'm running on fumes.
But hopefully, not every day is bad. Maybe you feel good. Maybe you are happy the day is over. A beautiful word for this is relieved. You are relieved that the stress is gone. You can say, I am just relieved it's the weekend. Or, I am relieved that presentation is over.
Or if you felt like you did a good job, you can say, I feel productive. Today was crazy, but I feel productive. That is a positive kind of tired. So sentence number 4 is your current state. I am drained, I am relieved, I am satisfied.
Finally, we need to end the story. We need a sign-off, a phrase that tells your brain, okay, English practice is done, day is done, time to sleep. You don't just stop talking. You need a closing line.
My favorite one for this is I am calling it a night. To call it a night means to decide that the day is over and you are going to bed. It is very decisive. You can say to your colleagues at a late dinner, I think I'm going to call it a night. Or you can say it to yourself.
Another nice one is, I am ready to crash. To crash means to fall asleep very quickly because you are tired. I am ready to crash.
So let's review our structure. We have built a 5-sentence routine. Sentence 1, the morning start. Struggle to wake up, rushed. Sentence 2, the main activity. Spent the day doing. Sentence 3, the result. Managed to, got stuck. Sentence 4, the feeling. Drained, relieved. Sentence 5, the sign-off. Calling it a night.
This sounds simple, but when you put it together, it creates a completely natural, fluent paragraph. Let's try a simulation. I am going to play the role of a learner. I will try to tell you about my day using these patterns. Sarah, you listen and tell me if it sounds natural.
Okay, I am listening. Go ahead, Mark. Tell me about your day.
Okay, here goes. I struggled to wake up this morning because it was so dark and rainy. I spent the whole morning working on a script for a new video. It was hard, but I managed to finish the first draft by lunch. Now I feel pretty drained, honestly. I think I am ready to call it a night.
That was perfect.
But hopefully, not every day is bad. Maybe you feel good. Maybe you are happy the day is over. A beautiful word for this is relieved. You are relieved that the stress is gone. You can say, I am just relieved it's the weekend. Or, I am relieved that presentation is over.
Or if you felt like you did a good job, you can say, I feel productive. Today was crazy, but I feel productive. That is a positive kind of tired. So sentence number 4 is your current state. I am drained, I am relieved, I am satisfied.
Finally, we need to end the story. We need a sign-off, a phrase that tells your brain, okay, English practice is done, day is done, time to sleep. You don't just stop talking. You need a closing line.
My favorite one for this is I am calling it a night. To call it a night means to decide that the day is over and you are going to bed. It is very decisive. You can say to your colleagues at a late dinner, I think I'm going to call it a night. Or you can say it to yourself.
Another nice one is, I am ready to crash. To crash means to fall asleep very quickly because you are tired. I am ready to crash.
So let's review our structure. We have built a 5-sentence routine. Sentence 1, the morning start. Struggle to wake up, rushed. Sentence 2, the main activity. Spent the day doing. Sentence 3, the result. Managed to, got stuck. Sentence 4, the feeling. Drained, relieved. Sentence 5, the sign-off. Calling it a night.
This sounds simple, but when you put it together, it creates a completely natural, fluent paragraph. Let's try a simulation. I am going to play the role of a learner. I will try to tell you about my day using these patterns. Sarah, you listen and tell me if it sounds natural.
Okay, I am listening. Go ahead, Mark. Tell me about your day.
Okay, here goes. I struggled to wake up this morning because it was so dark and rainy. I spent the whole morning working on a script for a new video. It was hard, but I managed to finish the first draft by lunch. Now I feel pretty drained, honestly. I think I am ready to call it a night.
That was perfect. Seriously. That did not sound like a textbook. It sounded like a real person talking to a friend. You used struggle to, spent the morning working, managed to finish, drained, and call it a night. It flowed.
And it only took about 20 seconds to say. But to get there, I had to think about the grammar of 5 different sentences. If I do that every night,
those patterns will become automatic.
Exactly, and that is the goal. We want these patterns to live in your mouth, not just your notebook. Let's try one more example, maybe for a different kind of day. Maybe a day that wasn't about work, but about problems. Mark, can you give us a bad day recap?
Sure, let's try a frustrating day. I was in a huge rush this morning because my alarm didn't go off. I spent the whole day running around fixing problems at the bank and the post office. It was a total drag. I didn't manage to finish everything I needed to do. I am completely running on fumes. I am definitely calling it a night.
Oof, sounds like a terrible day, but excellent English. Running around, total drag, didn't manage to. These are the phrases that make native speakers nod and say, I understand.
Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, but my day is boring. I do the same thing every day. I woke up, I went to work, I came home. How can I do this recap if nothing changes?
That is a great question. The truth is, fluency is found in the details. Even if you go to the same job, the texture of the day is different. Maybe today you spent the day focusing on one big task, but yesterday you spent the day helping a colleague. Maybe today you are drained, but yesterday you were bored.
Right. The repetition is actually good for you. If you say, I spent the day working 5 nights in a row, you will master that pattern. Then on the 6th night, you can try to change the verb. I spent the day preparing. I spent the day organizing. Small changes build big confidence.
Also, doing this at night has a psychological benefit. It helps you close the day. In English, we call this winding down. When you put your experiences into words, you process them. You take the stress out of your head and put it into language. So you are practicing English and helping your mental health at the same time.
And let's be honest, it is much better than scrolling through social media for the last 30 minutes of your day. We want you to replace that passive scrolling with active whispering. Yes, whispering. You do not have to shout. If you have family in the room or a roommate, just whisper it under your breath. The important thing is that your lips move.
That is a crucial rule. You cannot just think these sentences. You must physically speak them. When you speak, you engage muscle memory. Your tongue needs to learn where to go to make the D sound in drained or the G sound in drag. Thinking does not train your tongue. Speaking does.
So let's set a challenge. We want you to try the bedtime recap for 7 days, starting tonight. Keep a little notebook by your bed if you need to remind yourself of the 5 sentence starters. The start, the time spent, the result, the feeling, the sign-off.
You don't need to write the sentences down every night. Just speak them. But maybe write down the vocabulary words, like running on fumes or manage to, so you remember to use them.
And what should they do if they get stuck on a word? Like, imagine they want to say, I fixed my car, but they don't know the word repair or mechanic.
Don't stop the flow. If you don't know a word, use a simpler one, or explain it. If you forget mechanic, say the car guy. If you forget repair, say make it work. The goal of the bedtime recap is fluency, which means keeping the story moving. Do not reach for the dictionary in the middle of your recap. It wakes your brain up too much. Just express the idea and go to sleep. You can look up the perfect word tomorrow morning.
That is great advice. Keep the flow. This is about confidence, not perfection.
I want to go back to one specific pattern because it is so versatile. I spent the day or I spent the morning. I want to give you a few more variations of this so you don't get bored. You can use it with feelings too. I spent the day worrying about. I spent the day waiting for. I spent the day trying to.
Oh, trying to is a good one. I spent the day trying to fix my computer. It implies you failed or it was hard. It is very relatable. Also, avoiding. I spent the day avoiding my boss. Hopefully you didn't do that, but if you did, it is great English practice.
And let's look at the feeling words again. We gave you drained and relieved. What if you are feeling frustrated? Maybe you are annoyed. You can say, I'm feeling a bit wind up. Actually, wound up is better. I'm feeling wound up. It means tense, like a spring that is too tight.
Or restless. I'm feeling restless. That means your body is tired, but your brain is active. You can't relax. If you feel restless, tell yourself, I am feeling restless, so I am going to try to sleep now. Acknowledging it helps.
Let's do one final practice round before we wrap up this lesson. I am going to give you a prompt, and I want you to fill in the blank. I will give you a few seconds of silence to say your answer. Prompt number 1. describe a slow morning. I struggled to... Go ahead, say it.
Did you say I struggled to wake up or I struggled to get out of bed? Both are perfect.
Prompt number 2. Describe a busy afternoon. I spent the afternoon... Say your sentence.
You could have said, I spent the afternoon cleaning, or I spent the afternoon in meetings. Remember the ing ending. Cleaning, meeting, working.
Prompt number 3. Describe a success. I managed to... Your turn.
Maybe you said, I managed to finish my homework, or I managed to cook dinner. Great job.
Prompt number 4. Describe how you feel right now. I am feeling... Be honest.
I am feeling tired. I am feeling motivated. I am feeling drained. Any of these are good.
And finally, the sign-off. Say it with us. I'm calling it a night.
I'm calling it a night.
There you have it. You have all the tools you need to turn your bedtime into a language class. It only takes 2 or 3 minutes, but think about the math. If you do this for 1 year, that is 365 mini speeches about your own life. That is huge.
It really is. You will become the expert on talking about your own life, and that is what people want to hear about. They don't want to hear you recite a textbook. They want to know who you are and what you did.
So here is your plan. Tonight, after you brush your teeth, sit on the edge of your bed. Take a deep breath and speak your 5 sentences. Do not worry about being perfect. Just let the English out.
And if you found this routine helpful, please hit the like button on this video. It helps other learners find us. And if you want to keep building your speaking skills with real-life topics like travel, jobs, or health, make sure you are subscribed to Talk About It in English.
Next week, we are going to talk about something that happens to everyone, forgetting things. How to say I forgot, it slipped my mind, and I have a terrible memory. You won't want to miss it.
But for now, we are going to follow our own advice.
That's right. We managed to finish this lesson. We hope you feel productive.
But now, we are feeling a bit drained.
So we are calling it a night. Thanks for listening, and sweet dreams.
Good night, everyone. Speak to you soon.